This health science presentation is appropriate for children of all ages. This teaching video describes a baby's growth inside her mother's body during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. This is the most important period of a baby's development because by the 8th week, 90% of the structures found in the adult body have formed, and by the 12th week, those systems have begun to function.
Hello, my name is Dr. Anne Paulo. I'm a GP, which means I'm the first person people go to see if they are ill. I look after people whatever their age, be they newly born babies, teenagers, pregnant mothers, grown-ups, or the elderly. In addition to being a doctor, I have taught medicine at Barts and the London Medical College, and I have also taught younger doctors how to become GPs. We're about to show you some very exciting baby videos which are different from any pictures of babies you've ever seen before. These pictures were made of babies before they were born, in the first few weeks after their mothers became pregnant. This video was made with a special instrument that only a doctor can use. It's called an endoscope. It is attached to a video camera with a small lens that can look inside a mother's body. The endoscope has a small light on the end which can help us see the babies whilst they're developing inside their mother's wombs. This technique is called embryoscopy because it helps us to see the embryo, or very young unborn baby. Embryo is what we call the baby during the first 8 weeks. From the 9th week of pregnancy until birth, it is called fetus. Fetus is a word from the Latin language, and it means little one or offspring. Doctors sometimes call a baby a conceptus while it is still inside the mother. We are showing you this video to teach you more about the wonderful way a baby grows inside his mother's body. To help me share this amazing story, I would like you to meet some students who are going to tell you more about the babies you will see on this video.
Hi, my name is Ariana. I'm 6 years old.
Hi, my name is David and I'm 11 years old.
Hi, my name is Neva and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is John and I'm 11 years old.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I'm 8 years old.
Hi, my name is Rio and I'm 10 years old.
Hi, my name is Yasmin Rose and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Jude and I'm 9 years old.
Hi,
My name is Olivia and I am 10 years old.
Hi, my name is Dominic and I'm 7 years old.
Babies live inside their mother's bodies in a special place called the uterus or womb. The uterus is a muscle which stretches to make room for the growing baby. Inside the uterus is a bag called the amniotic sac. This sac is filled with a kind of salt water in which the baby floats. This salt water cushions the baby from bumps, keeps his temperature comfortable, and helps him grow in all sorts of other important ways. Here is a drawing which will help you understand where the baby lives. With the endoscope and video camera, we are able to see the baby from outside the amniotic sac. This is possible because the sac is clear enough for us to see through. Watch carefully and you will learn and see all sorts of surprising things. Look at this embryo. He's only 4 weeks old and his heart has already been beating for about a week. Do you see the big red heart in the middle of his body? It is pumping blood to all the other parts of the growing baby. You can't tell by looking if these babies are boys or girls until they are about 12 weeks old. So sometimes we will call them she and sometimes we will call them he.
As we learned earlier, the baby is called an embryo until it is 9 weeks old. When the baby is 5 weeks old, she starts to form tiny grooves and ridges on her hand. This means she is beginning to grow fingers. Nerves also start to grow into the hands and legs during this time. Nerves will help us move and feel things.
You're probably wondering what this round balloon-like shape could be. It's called the yolk sac and it grows in the first few weeks of the baby's life. The yolk sac does many things to help the baby grow, but one of the most important is to make blood cells for the heart to pump throughout the baby's body.
During the 5th to 6th week of life, the baby is beginning to develop its face. This baby has a mouth and a tiny upper lip. Look at this baby's mouth. The arrow shows you where to look. This baby also has an early nose, eyes and ears. 6 weeks is an exciting time because this is when the embryo begins to move. He first makes slow, gentle movements of his arms. Within just a few weeks, the baby can move his arms, legs, head and trunk rapidly. His mother will not feel him move until he is about 4 months old because he is so small. By then, he will be big enough to kick his leg or push his arm hard enough to be felt by the nerves, which are closer to his mother's skin.
Another wonderful thing that happens at 6 weeks is the baby's brain becomes active. Doctors can measure the brain's electrical activity with a machine that prints out a tracing whose initials are EEG. The EEG is a drawing of the brain's electrical pattern that looks like a crooked line with sharp ups and downs. Everyone has their own special EEG pattern, and they begin to form while they're still just embryos inside their mother's wombs.
At 6 weeks, the baby also begins to form the joints which connect its bones. Our joints are the places where two bones meet, and special connective tissue at our joints allows our bodies to bend. Our knees and elbows are two examples of joints. The baby's joints develop so quickly that they look like adult joints by the end of the 8th week. It is very important that the baby moves around inside his mother because exercise helps grow his bones and joints and even his muscles.
The baby's face continues to develop during this time. His eyelids begin to form at 6 weeks. They will keep growing until the upper and lower lids touch, and each eye closes at 9 weeks. The eyes will then stay shut until about 26 weeks.
At 7 weeks, the baby is moving more and more. She can turn her body and her head from side to side. Sometimes she even touches her face with her hand. This is also the time when the baby can first bend her head back, and sometimes she'll open her mouth when she does this. She can bend her elbows too.
Believe it or not, some babies can even hiccup at 7 weeks. The muscle which will help the lungs breathe in and out is growing by this time, and it is called the diaphragm. When it makes a fast, jerky movement, the baby hiccups just like you sometimes do. By 10 weeks, the diaphragm muscle is completely formed. The 7-week-old baby has also grown bumps on the tongue called taste buds. These are important because they will later help her taste her favourite foods. You might be someone who used to suck your thumb as a baby. Did you know that babies first put their thumbs in their mouths when they are in their mother's wombs? Doctors have made pictures of babies with their thumbs in their mouths as early as 7 weeks after they begin to grow.
When the baby is 6 or 7 weeks old, she likes to lie on her back or stomach in the womb. Later, she may spend most of her time lying on her side, or even sitting up. Because she is still very small now, she has lots of room to move around. As she grows larger, it will get more crowded in her mother's womb, and she won't be able to move as much.
You may have noticed that his skin is almost as clear as a glass in a window. You can see through it because it is still growing. At 4 weeks, he has only one of the 2 layers of skin cells that he will later develop. This first layer will grow into the outer part of the skin, which we call the epidermis. The second part of the baby's skin will be the inner layer, which we call the dermis. By 11 weeks, the baby will have grown both of these skin layers, and we will no longer be able to see inside his body.
You might also be curious about the curly tube you see attached to the baby's tummy. It's called the umbilical cord. You had one of these until you were born. You can tell this because you have a belly button. That's all that's left of the umbilical cord now, but it was very important for the first 9 months of your life.
This cord connected you to your mother's body through another organ called the placenta. An organ is a body part that has a special purpose. A placenta is the organ through which the mother puts food and oxygen into the baby and takes the baby's waste products away. Waste products are things the baby no longer needs.
The umbilical cord brings food from the placenta so the baby can grow, oxygen so it can breathe, and even antibodies to make it immune from some diseases. Immunity is the way the body protects itself from diseases. If you look closely, you can see 3 blood vessels inside the cord. The cord grows so quickly that it can eventually measure 2 to 3 feet in length. Babies sometimes have a cord twisted around themselves or even hold it in their hand.
Here's a baby who is 8 weeks old. By now his fingers and toes are easy to see, and he can begin to move them. Look at this baby's fingers and toes. There is always something important happening in the early weeks of the baby's growth.
The brain, spinal cord and nerves have been quickly forming for several weeks now. No one can say for sure what a baby can feel inside his mother's womb, but we can watch the baby's growth and reactions. Parts of the brain and nerves which are necessary to feel pain develop between about the 8th and 13th week of the baby's growth. Pricking a 9 to 10 week fetus with a needle causes the baby's brain activity to change in ways similar to the changes which happen when an adult feels pain. Doctors have seen unborn babies as young as 9 or 10 weeks do some of the same things you and I do when we feel pain, like move away from what is causing us to hurt. As we also learned earlier, at 9 weeks, doctors call the baby a fetus instead of an embryo. The baby will be called a fetus until she is born. Then she will be called a newborn baby.
The baby in the womb also likes to stretch. Look at this 9-week baby. She was sleeping and just awakened. Watch her stretch. See her move her arms and fingers, arch her back, and tilt her head to the rear. A baby can first be seen stretching when she's 8 weeks old.
From about 8 or 9 weeks, the baby begins to make breathing movements. Even though the baby does not breathe like you do until she is born, by 11 or 12 weeks, she will breathe amniotic fluid in and out of her lungs. At 10 weeks of age, the baby is about 2.5 inches long or 6 to 7 centimeters. He has grown very quickly. This is also the time when the baby's bones begin to harden. They have been soft, kind of like your nose, but they need to get hard. Bones give the baby's body shape and support. After we are born, they help us stand, sit, and move about. They also store minerals and make blood cells.
The baby's hair begins growing at 10 weeks. Fingernails also start to grow at this time. Around 10 weeks of age, you can sometimes see the baby swallow the amniotic fluid that surrounds it. The baby's jaw opens and the tongue moves. The baby can also move his eye downward, just like you would do if you wanted to look down. This is the point at which a doctor can first tell if the baby is a boy or a girl.
We told you earlier that the baby's face starts forming at 5 weeks. At 11 weeks, it is so well developed that she can make complex facial expressions.
At 11 weeks, she digests amniotic fluid and then moves urine through her kidneys and bladder and back into the amniotic fluid in which she is floating. This baby's face, arms and legs are sensitive to touch. That means she can feel things that touch her, like her umbilical cord, even at this early point in life.
This baby is 12 weeks old. Babies grow so fast at 12 weeks that they weigh almost twice as much as they did at 11 weeks. A 12-week baby weighs 1.5 ounces or 45 grams. He measures about 3.5 inches or 8.7 centimeters from the top of his head to his body.
You might think that this baby looks kind of skinny, but he will not stay that way. At 12 weeks, he begins to grow some fat in certain parts of his body.
You need some fat in your body to help keep you warm and give you energy.
I hope you can watch this exciting video again and you will more easily remember the many facts you've now learnt about the human embryo and fetus as it grows inside the mother's womb. Each stage of development is part of a flow which carries us through birth, infancy, adolescence, adulthood, and finally into old age. Each time is different in its own way, and each holds many interesting and important surprises.
Oh, that's the baby when it's born.
It's got changed!
Yeah.
If I was a baby and I didn't have any arms in the mum's tummy, like how our teeth go, like my body goes and it never comes off, and now it's like us. That is not true at all.
Nothing really happens. He just stays there until it comes out, or she stays there until it comes out.
When I was little, I used to think that babies were like swimming in like the womb and like dancing around because I've seen these cartoons of that, and it's like I believe everything when I was a child.
I thought the baby was just like a ball in the tummy and it comes out, but then again I learned something because it's actually a baby growing in the tummy and it has so much detail in the tummy as well.
Yeah, I was surprised because I thought inside of the room they wouldn't have faces, it would just be like a massive egg.
Yeah, it did surprise me that babies have to take 9 months to develop, though, because I thought they would develop more quickly because they're born like tiny.
There wasn't really anything I learned. It's just like, I didn't know it was like grey, like the baby skin was like grey at like 4 weeks or something. I don't know, like around that age.
They start to move their heads and move their body as they get older.
I never knew that babies would hiccup inside a mother's bodies, inside their womb, because I just I always thought it was a baby just moving.
I didn't know that the baby was see-through in the mother's womb. I thought it was just absolutely solid.
They grow. What was the question?
Also, I learned about the yolk sac, the amniotic sac, which was filled with salt water.
So I didn't know that it was like in this bag or whatever it was. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That she opens her mouth when it's still in the tummy. But also I was like, does she open her eyes when she's in the belly? Does she? I'm not sure.
When does the baby come out?
At 9 months.
Do they cough?
I didn't know that they could go to sleep. I thought they would just be awake all the time.
It really looks like they're scared because they're only little.
The baby needs to be cared for whilst it's in the sac.
And I really didn't know how the 4 weeks were like that tiny.
The only part of the umbilical left is your belly button. And I never knew that. I always thought you were just born with it.
That I'm in it.
I think children should watch before you were born because it's educational, so you can learn about babies, how they were born before, and you can even learn about how you were born when you were growing in your mother's stomach.
Because most of the time we won't be able to see what's going on because it's inside the mother's womb. So there's like this camera and it like lights up the womb inside and it's like really cool.
Because then they're like learning about all these things that that has happened to them as well. Because maybe they might not know about anything. So I think it's a good idea for them to know about it.
You can learn different words about the baby, like embryo and fetus, and like actual words about the baby.
Yeah, because like in school they only show like cartoony like images and it doesn't really show like much detail or like colour or anything. But when I watched the video I saw like more like detail and what it was like looked like properly.
I like how we get to talk about different things because usually babies is something that we don't really talk about a lot. So it's nice to talk about something different.
Because it has lots of amazing facts and your mum might be having a baby.
At least I know, at least I'm prepared for how the baby is gonna grow bigger, and at least I know what, at least roughly, like when the baby is 7 weeks, at least I know what my baby looks like, so I don't have to keep on going to get scans from the doctor. So I'll be smart.